Hi, it's Pauline, your coach here, and I want to talk in these next few series that we're going to do on our Tuesday night webinars about how to attract people to you. Um, it's not fun to go out searching for your customers. It's so much more fun to have people find you and be attracted to you. And while there's an element of both, having people find you through attraction marketing is a really powerful way. And the internet has changed everything. I mean, it's totally free. Before, if you wanted someone to be attracted to you, you had to buy magazine ads or a TV spot and craft an ad that probably cost you tons of money, and it may bomb, and you're just out of money on that one. But now, with YouTube and blogging and Facebook and Pinterest and Instagram, you have free platforms where you can put yourself out there way more frequently. People can share your stuff so much easier. I mean, how do you share a TV commercial? It's hard. You have to go find it on YouTube maybe. But with Facebook and things, it's so simple to share things. And if you make something that bombs, oh well, recraft it, re-edit it, or create something entirely new. So we're going to talk about tonight, especially how to do attraction marketing with telling your story. So this is exciting because I'm a storyteller by heart. I mean, who doesn't love a story? This is why movies and TV are so powerful and why people totally connect with that format is because they, with TV, and it's just, we love stories. We love to be entertained. It just reaches out to our heart, captures our attention. We're a visual society with all of the visual stuff that there is. So having a great story and great pictures to go along with it is just a huge plus. So in the beginning, when you're talking to someone, now this is if you're talking to them person to person, you can use stories like when I talk to new customers on the phone and we're talking about their weight loss goals. It's great to work in a story there. And the thing is, people, when it really boils down to it, people don't care about you necessarily. They don't want to hear about you. So why does storytelling work? I'll get to that. But really, they want to talk about themselves, and that's just kind of the nature of people. So storytelling is awesome because it sells people and it engages them, and they see themselves through your story. Um, and it's persuasive. A great story is subtle. It's a subtle sale, and it's very persuasive when people can see themselves through you in your eyes and your shoes. But you might ask yourself, who cares about my story? Why would anyone care about my story? Well, here's the thing is your story matters. There is a whole world of people out there who have similar stories to you. And when we find people that are similar to us, it's like instant trust. There's several ways to build trust with people you don't know. Before and afters is a great way when people see that working with you works or results work. The programs get good results, that works. But also when we see someone that is similar to us or like us, or we can see ourselves in them, that is a huge way to build trust. And it humanizes, the company too. Like Beachbody, the company that I'm speaking about, they have so many before and after, so many stories. Every day when you go on the website, there's someone's before and after in the corner with a great story. And Beachbody is willing to pay money for that. That's why they have the Beachbody Challenge, is because they know how powerful storytelling is. So don't underestimate the stories for sure. And it makes Beachbody a company that just, it's a huge name brand. It turns it into really human. It's people. The company is made up of people who had their obstacles, they had their struggles, they overcame them, they got results. So whose stories can you share? Maybe you haven't had necessarily a weight loss story. Now you have other kinds of stories, and we'll get to that. But in terms of fitness and the bones of the business, the result, nutrition and fitness, you have a story, I'm sure. I mean, whether it's with Shakeology or how exercising makes you feel, that's a story. And then also, if you meet someone who has a situation that's not your own, this is where learning the stories of other coaches is so helpful and so great, is because you can share, well, there was this one coach and she had to work full-time too, and it was during her lunch hour that she was able to, get an hour in and work the business that way. So knowing other people's stories, being on the National Wake Up Call, um, going on the Platinum Presenter calls, reading the stories that Beachbody puts out in the email newsletters and things. Those are great ways to learn awesome stories. And really being a pro in this business is really just being a great storyteller. Also, I use customers' stories all the time to reach out to people, especially on Facebook. I'll reach out and I'll use, you know, an awesome before and after, and then put a story in about how they were very busy and they had lots of kids, and yeah, they were able to get this result. So that would be a really short story, and we'll talk more about how to weave that into social media. But the stories bring you alive. They make you interesting. They take you from just being a Facebook, you know, profile picture on a page to just humanizing you and what you're about. I'm often so blown away by, I will talk to someone and they, you know, because I try and tell stories on Facebook a lot, and all social media, Google Plus, wherever I'm at. And I will talk to people who don't comment or like ever on my pages, and we're just friends, and I'll talk to them, and it's so interesting that they have been reading and they know the stories, they remember them, and I'm like, wow, oh, I didn't even know that you were seeing my stuff, and you were, and you've been reading them. So never discount the stories. People are reading them even when you don't realize, and not, some people they're not likers and commenters, which is why you always ask them to like or comment, give them a call to action in the post. Because some people just don't do it by nature. Some other cool stories like that humanizes a company or a person, like Steve Jobs, how he started his Apple computer company in his garage. Like, that inspires people. Like, he started in his garage and look where he is. I mean, everyone's got a garage. I could do that too. You know, it's an inspirational kind of story. So let's kind of, now we all get in this box, I think most coaches, where you feel like, I'm a Beachbody coach, so my story has to be about fitness and nutrition. And I did cover that and talk about that because that could be your story, and maybe that is your story, I mean, I definitely share that too, but there's more to you than just fitness and nutrition. And if that hasn't been something you've done all your life, maybe you don't really feel like an expert in it. Or maybe you are an expert. Maybe you're a huge expert on nutrition and exercise. And but honestly, like, what people want is they want the nitty-gritty. People want to hear about struggles and what you've overcome. So this is where you share your heart. So what makes a good story? Let me flip my notes. Ah, really, my notes. Okay, so basically think of like a movie or a book or a TV. Think like a director, think like an author. You want to have a beginning, a middle, and an end. You want a conflict, ideally, some sort of struggle that had to be overcome, or however there's going to be a resolution. And you need at least one, if not more, interesting characters, or people who you can believe in. They're the hero of the story. So pictures can be really compelling. Video is awesome. Like I said, we're a visual society, so when you can marry the two, a great story with an awesome picture, I mean, people will post inspirational things, but when they've got the picture there that has the words on it, and it's like, wow, like, that's where we really get inspired. Like when we do the motivational Mondays in our challenge group or whatever, and you have to post a picture, an inspirational picture. You can put a great thought, but then it's like that picture there is what really compels you. So when you can get an awesome picture or video. So give you an example. When I made my transformation video, my turbo transformation video, where I showed how I lost 70 pounds in 7 months, the story that I was trying to portray was I didn't know what to do. I went for this run and I couldn't do it. It really woke me up to how out of shape I was, how hard it was. And so that was like the struggle, was how to lose the weight from the kids. And then the hero, so basically I kind of paint myself as a hero when I have that mindset change. And then also the Turbo Fire is kind of painted as a hero in the video. Interesting character. I love that I got this footage. I remember being so annoyed at the time that my husband was popping in the background, like making like a chicken dance and doing his head and whatever. I was like, get out of here. Like, I'm making these videos and so don't want you in my videos right now. And I'm so glad that he was in it, because I'm like, that totally humanized, like, that just shows like a cool, I mean, looking back now, because I made those videos months ago, and so now looking at them, we like totally, it's my favorite part of the video. We crack up every time I see him get behind me and he's like dancing. It's so funny. I love that part. So it just, I think it humanizes me in the video. Like, I've got a marriage, like I have a husband and we joke around together. And then I put my kids in there so people see I have kids, I'm a mom, my kids are, cute, at least I think they are. And so it creates that picture that paints that story. And I go from kind of rags to riches kind of story, like where I was overweight, but then I overcame it, and now I have the life that I've been wanting. Like I've got energy, like the weight pains went away, So it's that story of struggle and triumph, is what I was trying to paint. People love that. They love David and Goliath stories, where there's an unlikely person and they take on a giant, and then they overcome it. So this takes practice. You want to find your platform. And we've talked so much about how there are different platforms. There's, Twitter, where messages are shorter. It might be a link to a blog. There's obviously blogs. If you're a writer, blogs is a great format where you can really just get descriptive with your words and one or two really good pictures if you want. Some blogs don't use pictures, just depends on what you want to do. Or if you're a talker, and this takes practice too, getting comfortable with a camera and doing videos, or like the one that I did where I used iMovie, and that I could tweak, and there was really no talking. It was just pictures, pick a good song, and some of the video footage of me working out. So that is a little more controlled. It's not so talking to the little green dot on my computer. But it takes practice, and so you just start, like anything. You just start. And what if you tell a story and you thought it was going to be great, and it just doesn't resonate? No one likes it, no one comments on it. Oh well, I can't tell you how many times I told a story and there was no applause at the end. I thought it'd be a good one. I worked hard on that one. Oh well, you just don't give up. You start again. And this is the compound effect, is you just keep going. And as you keep going, you learn, you get better and better and better. You just don't give up. You keep telling. So how do you go from a story to a sale? And this is huge, right? I mean, this is the goal of owning your own business and using stories to tell, is you want to monetize from the story. The bottom line is you must convert, or the story is meaningless. I mean, we've got plenty of things that we all need to do, and it's probably not sit around and tell stories on YouTube for no reason. Unless you have a cause and you're trying to promote a cause and not make any money off of it, like you just want to tell people, the good news or truth or something, that you want to get a message out there just for the benefit of humanity. But if you're using it in your business, obviously it's got to turn into a sale. So the process of turning a story to a sale, it must be subtle and natural. If you've done a good job with prospecting and listening, so, then it will be natural. So if you're on the phone with someone and you are talking to them and they've made it really clear that they don't have any feet, and then you tell a story about how you had this amazing trek through the woods and you had these awesome shoes and you're a shoe salesman, at the end you're like, okay, and the shoes are on sale, and he's like, I don't have any feet. I told you that. So this is a silly example, but the point is, you missed the boat. Like, you've got the wrong people in the room. So same with social media. If you're posting and you've got like a blog and a nursing mothers forum, and your story leads to a sales pitch at the end that's all about formula, you've got the wrong people in the room. You don't want to be in that place. So you've got to know your audience and know the story that you're telling, and it will come naturally. Basically, you want to, in their mind, you should portray and present yourself as a person who has overcome a problem, and you can solve it for them. And they're going to see that, not by you hammering it over their head, but they're going to see it through your story. And they want to connect with you. They want to be with you because they know you have the answer. Now, does it have to be about fitness and nutrition? No, it doesn't. You just want people who like you, that are attracted to you, because who needs to work out? Everyone. Who needs to eat well? Everyone. Who needs Shakeology? Everyone. We have a great industry that we're in, and unfortunately, obesity is an epidemic proportions in America. So we've got an amazing solution to a lot of people's problems. What we need is someone who we connect with, that we like, because when you have that bond with your coach, it's an amazing thing, and you're so much more likely to work out and to want to post in the challenge groups when you just love your coach and your coach loves your customers, and it's an awesome bond. So if you struggled with depression or drugs or alcoholism, or you had an abusive relationship, or or maybe your struggle was finances. You were really poor for a while and you were able to overcome it. Or it could be simpler. It doesn't need to be that dramatic. It could be you live in really, I'm making things off the top of my head right now. You live in the desert and you wanted to garden and you couldn't figure it out, but then one day you did. I mean, that's a cool story of triumph. And if you are an avid gardener, what a great way to connect with other gardeners who are having the same problems. And then as they get into your world, as they follow your blog or follow you on social media, they're going to eventually see that you are into fitness and nutrition as well. And hey, just so happens they're overweight gardeners and they've been looking for a way to lose weight and just not been working for them. This is how I do it. This is how so many people do this business, and I tell you it works. Like all the time, I'll connect with people for reason A. They will follow me and like my stuff, and I don't post all the time about Beachbody and fitness and nutrition, but occasionally I do, and they will see that, and they're like, wow, I like her, I trust her, we connect, and I'm going to message her today. And sometimes it takes a few months, sometimes it's quicker than others, but it's the key is staying in there, not quitting, and being there for them when they're ready, because sometimes it takes a while for people to think about this. Like, they don't like the idea of working out, and they've got to see that it's fun, and in following your posts and following your blog, they start to see that. So think of ways to tell stories. It doesn't have to be fitness and nutrition. It can be just a struggle you overcome in your life, how you have a lot of kids and you have a mom's blog. Maybe you write about moms and how you're able to have sanity with a small house and lots of kids. I could write that blog. I should write that blog. So the goal of the story is help the people connect the dots of how you can help them with their problems and how you can solve them. And the sales pitch at the end is subtle. Okay. And we talked about also how online it completely changed the barrier of entry. You don't have to buy magazine ads or TV ads anymore. It's super easy to tell people stories and share, which is actually how I found out about TurboFire. There was a girl named Katie, and she actually had an amazing transformation video. It's got like 1 million hits on it. But I connected through her story. I mean, my video is very similar to hers because I was inspired by hers, and that was what worked for me, so I figured there's other people in the world that will like my video too. But basically, it was very similar. She just talked about how she didn't feel like herself. I don't know, just the way she looked, her face, like you can just look at someone's face and be like, I like them. I like how they look. I think I could connect with them. I connect with them just by how they look. I mean, maybe because we're similar. I don't know, just a trust thing. So I loved her video, and I messaged her, and that is how I learned out about TurboFire. It was from a video. I was searching for, I was convinced that mini tramp was going to be the way I was going to lose weight. They're called rebounders, and my husband's like, that's a mini tramp. And I'm like, oh no, it's much cooler than that. It's a rebounder. And so we still laugh about that. And he's like, okay, before you buy the $200 rebounder, let's get this $10 mini tramp from Goodwill and see if you'll actually do the exercises and jump on it and lose weight, and then we'll get you the expensive rebounder. And I'm like, well, I don't know if the mini tramp from Goodwill that costs $10 is, because this $200 one is supposed to be like jumping on a cloud. So, all right, so we got the $10 one, and it was just like he said. I jumped on it for like a day, and I was like, you know what? I don't know what to do with this silly mini tramp. Like, I need like a video or someone to give me ideas for exercises. Like, I'm just jumping. Like, I can see how this would probably lose weight, but I need a little something more together. And that's when her video surfaced. It met all of my needs. It was a program. It told me what to do. That was what I needed. I need someone just to tell me what to do, when to do it, what to eat. It was a full program. It had multiple exercises. It wasn't just one video. Like, I've bought videos before. It's one, and I get super, super bored. So this met my need. It was multiple videos, like 12 different workouts. I wasn't going to get bored. And then watching her do the workout, I was like, oh, this reminds me of my soccer days. This is athletic, and yet it's dancey. It reminds me of dancing. I love dancing. So her video and then seeing her, all of it just connected the dots for me. I had all these problems that I needed met, and Katie's video was the answer for me. And I messaged her right away, and it's been nonstop ever since. And also, here's some tips, too. Okay, first thing, too, is, before I say the tips, is let's do an action item, is start. Just write down, I don't know if you blog or if you're Twitter or what you do, YouTube, however you want to do this, but get your story out. Just tell it. there's someone out there who's going to watch it or read it, I guarantee. That's how the internet works. It's searchable and someone will find it. But just get it out. You can always retell it, rewrite it, re-blog it another day if you want. I mean, even just write it down and share it. Share it with the world, share it with your husband, however you feel comfortable. Just get it out of you. And then your bloggers are awesome because they will give you feedback, which will give you ideas on how to make it better. Because this is not like a one-time thing. Like, you don't tell your story and never tell again. Have you had a good story before and you tell it like 100 times? One time I was driving down the freeway and it was like stop hour on I-17, and this Mexican guy in his car, there's two of them, they slam into my car and it slams into the car in front of me. My car hits the car in front of me, which in Arizona, if you rear end someone, it's your fault no matter what. So that was a big bad problem right there. And then the Mexican guys jump out of their car, run past my car, run past the car that I hit, and they jump in the car in front of them and they drive off. And I was like, sitting here with my front rear-ended and back rear-ended car, and so I call the cops. They come, they tow his vehicle off, and I drive off, and it took so many hours, but at the end of the night, turns out some Marines who were like on leave saw what happened, and they're like, we're going to chase him down. And so they're driving down, chasing after the Mexicans. They like call the police. They catch the Mexicans. Turns out they had like a suitcase full of marijuana in their trunk, and that's why they abandoned the cars. And so they went to jail, but it didn't matter for me because they weren't carrying insurance, so it didn't really help out. My insurance had it covered, I think. Whatever. I was like 16, so I don't even know the details. My parents took care of it. All I know is my headlights never worked the same again. And so that story, I told that. I mean, that was like the coolest story. I told everyone I knew. And every time you tell it, you get better and better and better. It doesn't get old. And sometimes people hear the same story again, and it's no big deal because it's a cool story. So that's how your story is going to be. Your story is going to inspire lots of people. Some people will read it several times in different ways and be glad to hear it. Also, you can kind of piecemeal your story. Like, I follow several people on YouTube for pure entertainment's sake because I love their channels and I connect with them as people. And every time I watch, like, I learn a bit more about the person. And if I was to sum up for you who the person is from all these things I've learned about them in the different videos, I could tell their story for you. It wasn't like they sat me down in a room and or a video and told me their story, which you can do, but this is just another option. Is you can give parts of your story away too as you're going. I recommend both, and those are just some ideas. Okay, so a few tips for when you're telling your story is let them cry, especially if it's an emotional story. That's huge, and emotional stories are great ones. Like if you've struggled with depression or anxiety and you overcame it, you sitting there bawling on YouTube, it doesn't allow the other person to have that emotion. You already took it. You gotta let them be the one to cry. I just watched the most amazing story of, this is in our Love Dare group, and Ian and Larissa. It's a video that was posted, and I may have to post it in the show note, the YouTube notes so you can see it. But Ian, they were about to get engaged. She knew that he had been talking about ring shopping, so she knew that was the direction their relationship was heading. And he got in a car accident, had to have brain surgery. He basically became, I don't know, like kind of like not a vegetable, but he could talk, and it was like, you've seen where they're like, you know, like it's really inaudible. You can't really understand them. Most people will be like, all right, peace out. I hope you have a good life. I can't really talk to you right now. She moved in with his family and was basically the servant, like took care of him, and she's just like, I know that he would have done it for me. And as things progressed, I mean, I guess he could talk a little bit. As the dad was about to die from cancer, he's like, you guys really need to decide like what is happening with this relationship. Either marry or you need to get, separated. Maybe for Larissa even, like, you have a life that you're not going to be living if you're taking care of him. It needs to be a commitment or not. So they did get married, and this is where I started bawling at minute 8 on this video. 3 years later, that was like their original story I was watching. I didn't know that. I thought like this is what their life was now. No, it says 3 years later. It shows what their life is now. He has gotten so much better. I mean, he can talk. He's talking about his wife. He's talking about God. He's having really deep thoughts. What if she had like left him? What if she hadn't been with him? Like her being there. I mean, maybe it was just the stimulation or her undying love and support, but she never once cried. I mean, through the whole thing, she's sharing her heart, her emotions, how she overcame this triumph, how God was faithful, and she's just telling it. And she is the hero of the story. This is what you want, is you want to portray yourself as the hero, but don't say it. Let people realize that on their own. I mean, it's without a doubt. She's the hero of the story. What an amazing woman. And she doesn't cry. She's just the stoic hero, and I cry for her. I'm just like, whoa, over the emotions, just seeing this woman who stayed with this man. And maybe this story wouldn't resonate with you, but it totally resonated with me. It was just an amazing story. I'm like, wow, next time I feel like complaining ever about my life, I mean, she takes care of him. Now he's walking. I mean, it was just totally a well done story. So that is a story. I'll definitely post that in the notes for you guys to watch, because I think it was craftily, really well done, excellent video footage. And they've written a book now, apparently. So, so just you can tell your story, how you overcame it, and I can't read my notes. Okay, and if it's a compelling story, just know that someone out there is going through the exact same thing, and they don't know the answer. They may not know how to get out. So there may be a story that you don't really want to share. Maybe it was how you had food addictions, and you just don't really want to talk about it. If I can encourage you, I mean, to think about it, pray about it, but there could be someone out there who has the exact same story, and they're just looking to know how you overcame it and what helped you, because it could be the very thing that helped them. So just consider that. And I think that's about it. So if you guys have any questions, yeah, we're about at 30-minute mark, getting good. So any questions, feel free to message me, of course. And go out there, write your story, get it on a blog, get on YouTube, get it on, just write it out, even on paper. Just action item is just get your story down and start thinking about it. And as you continue to craft it and refine it, it will get better and better. You'll dramatize it more. You'll get into the details more. You'll get better at telling it. So just an action item is just to write a story out somewhere and just get your story out and start thinking about stories that you have that could help someone else and bring them into your world, and as they'll connect with you in your business. All right, I'll talk to you next week. Until then, have a good one.